Yep. Okay. Let me go grab some water. Oh. In 3, 2, 1, what is up, my ninjas and assassins? Mega One here. And welcome to Let's Read Band of Ponies by Starlight Sapphire. Yep. And with that pony creator OC Glory. Okay, but okay, whatever. One story, and no blog post, blah blah blah, nothing. This is a romantic dark comedy adventure. Well, sorry, not comedy. Romantic dark adventure alternate universe. The story takes place in Equestria, in an alternate universe. The Griffins have invaded Equestria, intent on taking it over. Celestia formed an Equestrian army, but couldn't Celestia banish them to the sun? Because Celestia has the ability to fuck. Whatever. Some of the things don't make sense, but whatever. Celestia formed an Equestrian army to combat this invading force. She also created an air force. Technology has advanced since the Griffins invaded, and now, as well as serving as fighters and ground support, Pegasi serve alongside the Earth Ponies and Pegasi in the Equestrian 3rd Airborne. Pegasi serve alongside Earth Ponies and Pegasi. I think you're forgetting that that might be unicorns. Okay. These elite soldiers jump out of planes. Now, new inventions made to carry ponies into the air. The Earth Ponies and unicorns use parachutes to slow their descents, and Pegasi use their wings. This story focuses mainly on a mare named Starlight Sapphire. It's her name. Oh. Or that person's name, because I don't know if he's a dude or a guy. And her love, Candy. Both are members of the 3rd AD. Okay, so for sake... Oh shit, I shouldn't really do that. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so sorry, my bad about that noise. My bad. Okay, so for fuck's sake, if you're going to dislike it, tell me why you dislike it. I'm really fucking tired. I'm really fucking trying to make a good story, so please tell me why you hate it, so I can make it better. Okay, dude, you don't have to fucking caps lock that. No, it's not even caps lock. You don't even have to fucking make it bigger. Just ask nicely, be like, this is my first story. Please just give me criticism to help make the story better. You don't make it better by fucking screaming at people. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me first read off one. No, sorry. Okay, so let's get into chapter 1 with 714 words. So chapter 2 has 637. Chapter 3, 1,000. Chapter 4, 1,000. So this is basically a 4,000, almost 4,800 word fan fiction. So, let us begin. The town was empty. Mostly anyways. Okay, sorry. It's kind of weird. You just put the town was empty, period. Mostly anyways, period. I don't think that's grammatically correct. Starlight was sure it had once had a name, but the sign had since been destroyed. Equestria, artillery, and airstrikes had all but leveled the town, turning it into a ruin. The place apparently had been completely taken over by the Griffins, who would use it as a staging area for launching a major offense. Okay. As far as Starlight could tell, this intelligence wasn't very accurate. So far, they hadn't found any bodies, save for a few dead animals. Hello, can you not read this correctly? Look, I made on this thing, when I do these readings, I have fun, but sometimes I will hate it. I will hate the fuck out of it, solely for the purpose of hating the fuck out of it. This one I kind of don't hate, out of the fucking way of just hating it to make fun. I generally hate it because there's simple spelling errors. Okay. They haven't found any bodies, save for a few dead animals, except for a few dead animals, except. Okay. They hadn't found so much as a talon or feather. Since they began searching, the infantry was accompanied by an infantry fighting vehicle. Okay, I'm sorry. IFV, and a couple armored personnel carriers, APCs, with 50s mounted on them. What the fuck is 50s? .50s caliber is .50s machine gun. What the fuck are .50s? Armored personnel carriers. Whatever. Fuck it. This story is really getting on my nerves right now. Starlight thought this was a bit overkill and strange, considering the third ERA Airborne Earth Equestrian I don't remember the fucking thing it was called. Didn't normally operate with the armored cav. She was glad she'd only brought her weapon and canteen. She probably wouldn't even need the former, but obviously she brought it anyway. A few newer ponies in the company had brought everything they thought they would need, including their pouches, extra water, blanket, rations, etc. Starlight was always packed light. It was the airborne. They were supposed to pack light. Glancing to her right, she saw the platoon's LMG gunner. A turquoise-colored mare named Morning Dew. Yeah, taste the dew, Morning Dew. Okay, I'm sorry. Dew had a short, light brown mane and tail, with eyes the same color. Morning Dew was one of the last original members of the platoon, as most of them had gone home after their tours were up. What? Starlight Dew and 3 other ponies had stayed. Now the platoon was mostly new recruits and incredibly under strength. As they were walking through the war-torn ruin of the town square, Starlight caught something in the corner of her eye. Suddenly, there was a burst of automatic fire, and she looked just in time to see the bullets tear into the standing to her left.
Sniper!
She yelled, dashing for what had once been a low brick wall surrounding the square. Dew landed roughly on top of Starlight as she took cover, barely missing the bullet that had meant for her. Okay, sorry. The IFV began pounding nearby buildings with its 40mm cannon, unleashing devastation. Each impact I'm sorry, I can't read this shit. It's so boring, and my throat's really going out. Each impact shaking the ground. Another burst, and a mare cried out as 3 bullets hit her right in the chest. Fuck, that's
2.
Starlight called out. You don't have to call out. making herself as small as possible. As soon as the word left her mouth, chaos erupted in the streets. It was an ambush. The Griffins were now unleashing hell onto the unprepared equestrian soldiers. There was a scream from somewhere behind Starlight, and bullets pinging off the armored vehicle. Suddenly, Starlight felt a hot flash of pain as a bullet grazed her flank, slicing open her fatigues and the flesh beneath. I'm sorry. I don't think that's really how it's... I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about here. Slice open her fatigues. What the fuck? I'm sorry. Quick Google search of these things so I can understand what the fuck you're talking about. Search Google. It's cutting a shirt. Okay, sorry. It's khakis. I'm sorry. I guess I can't fucking... I just never knew khakis were spelled so fucking weirdly. But whatever. And the flesh beneath. She got up and continued to fire her weapon alongside Morning Dew. Morning Dew. Taste the dew. Morning Dew. Dew's LMG. I'm sorry. Jesus. I was gonna go MLG, so whatever. Was deafening. And before long, their ears were ringing from the non-stop noise, and their vision was clouded with gun smoke and dust. The air was thick with the smell of burned gunpowder, sweat, and Starlight realized blood. One of the APCs was hit in the side by a rocket and burst into flames. The screams of the ponies burning to death inside added to the... Oh, sorry, my throat. Of the battle. I'm sorry, I can't read these things. The big words, Already, some pony had called in danger. Close artillery strike. The ground shook with every concussion as the 105 rounds landed close enough to knock Starlight back on her flank. As the suffocating heat washed over her, she looked over to her right and saw Morning Dew laying motionless in a pool of blood. She looked back towards the vehicle and saw some pony yelling at her and beckoning her over. As if in slow motion, she stood up to taking the handle of Mountain Dew's saddle in her mouth. She began dragging the injured, or dead, she wasn't sure, mare back to safety. Two other soldiers ran up and assisted her, taking over. Starlight looked down at Dew and realized she had left a long trail of blood as Starlight had dragged her. Oh, fuck me, she cried. The last thing she remembered was a deafening explosion and searing pain across her entire left side. Author's note. Alright, not much of a chapter, but okay. But okay in my opinion. Keep reading, it gets better. No, it doesn't. This story is so fucking boring. Oh my god, artillery war, it's so boring. You have to make a convincing and amazing story, but you don't. You have it so boring, and it's so boring. That's all I can say. It's boring. I don't want to read more of it. It's torture right now because I'm a guy that needs to have, you know, that fun factor with reading fan fictions. That's why I like reading shitty ones, because it's fun. Yes, you know, I do take the piss out of them, and I do kind of hate them, but I make fun, and I have fun with it. This is just so boring. It's so fucking boring. Whatever. Okay, so let me read one of the comments because it's quite long and someone was actually giving constructive criticism. I'll tell you what you need. The beginning, as I am reading it, starts with the town. What is the town's name? When you name, I think it's also please when you name them, then the things they are taking into battle, it would be better to describe them more besides just abbreviations. I will continue to read to further judge. 1 minute later, alright. When the first battle scene happens, I want to know where they are. What does it look like? I have no clue. I only know some guys got shot. A couple of paragraphs down, he screamed from somewhere. Sounds legit. Alright, I read the part where they fire back. You say the gun was loud. Don't tell us, show us. Books are movies in the mind. Final review, I like it. This is good. Dude, shut up, it's not good. This is going to become a great battle story as time goes on. You will become more experienced and able to write movies like a boss. Alright, then I think I fixed it. No, it's still boring. It's so boring. Band of Ponies. It's so boring. I've been only going on for 17 minutes, so you know what? I'm gonna make this a bit longer and read chapter 2. Okay. Chapter 2. Starlight awoke in a cold sweat. The room had sterile smell to it and was a bit chilly. She opened her eyes and saw the white ceiling above her. She tried to get up, but cried out in pain. She realized her left side was very painful and sore. She couldn't hear out of her left ear either. A pretty unicorn mare walked into the room and looked over the clipboard as the feet of Starlight's bed briefly. What happened to me? Slurred Starlight, realizing she must be really doped up on painkillers. The nurse blinked at her. You're up already, she replied. What happened to me? Repeated Starlight, louder this time. Apparently you survived a grenade blast right next to you, said the nurse, looking over the clipboard. 4 broken ribs and multiple shrapnel wounds. She looked over to Starlight. We mostly took care of the flesh wounds, but you will be in here for a few weeks while your ribs are healing. Starlight laid back against her pillow. Truth be told, she was glad she'd been in the rear for a few weeks. She couldn't complain about that. She learned that Morning Dew had survived barely. They almost didn't get her back fast enough. She'd lost so much blood. She was heading home as soon as she was recovered. 4 other ponies had been shot, 2 fatal, and 5 more were killed in the APC when it got hit. Oh my god, it's so boring. It's so goddamn boring. They'd have been the unlucky ones, dying in a blazing inferno. Starlight shared a room with another mare named Cotton Candy. I don't even think in the show they would give a character such a degrading name as Cotton Candy. You're sticky not stirred. I like my cotton candy swirled. A name she hated, and insisted Starlight just call her Candy. Candy was from Starlight's company. What? Okay. And had been shot in the flank. Ow, you got shot in the ass? That's... Wait, whoa. Is this Forrest Gump? Yeah, it sounds just like Forrest Gump. Oh my god, I actually kind of want to watch Forrest Gump, then read this. Okay. What? Punching a hole right in the center of Cotton Candy cutie mark. The scar, unfortunately, had been replaced by magic. Oh, wait, what? The scar, fortunately, had been repaired by magic. Starlight quickly grew fond of her roommate and even had a slight crush. It was hard not to. Candy was incredibly cute. Aww, shut up, I hate you. But wasn't sure if she felt the same way. Her conversation with Candy did help to pass the time, but she was starting to get anxious. She wanted to go back to the front. Wait, what? Okay, so you want to go back to the front even after you've nearly fucking died. Good for you. Okay, good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Go fuck yourself. I'm sorry if I'm being a little too mean and stuff. I just can't read this fanfiction. It's really hurting me. Yeah, okay. It had been too long away from combat. She hated it, but at the same time, she'd never been good at anything else. Her key to mark, to cross the bullets with as proof of the fact. It didn't help at all when Candy was sent back out. Now she not only fucking hell, I can't read. Jesus. Now she oh god. Now she not only had no pony to talk to. God, that was so bad. But she was worried about her friend. She tried not to think about what the Griffins would do to Candy if they captured her. Man, I hate this story so much. After what seemed like months, Starlight was released from the hospital. Her ribs had completely healed. Helped by the magic of the doctors, Starlight was immediately sent back out to an Air Force base outside Philadelphia. Being airborne, she was put back in the same unit she'd been with before. She was delighted to discover that Candy had been reassigned to her platoon, which was being reinforced by soldiers from other platoons. In the company, they'd at least been a bit less understrength. In addition to this, they'd all been issued new uniforms and equipment. The Earth Ponies and the Unicorns were issued new parachutes as well. These made out of camouflage silk rather than white. This meant they were going to be jumping into combat soon. As predicted, fucking hell, I'm so tired. Preparations began for a major offense. Troops were given maps and studies sand tables and photos of the area. Starlight learned the areas so well she could draw a map from memory. This would be a massive push to force the Griffins out of Equestria. If it failed, it would cost the lives of hundreds of soldiers. Also should note, so yeah, not much going on in this chapter. Next chapter, we'll go in more in depth. Oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad. but it's so bad and boring. 24 minutes, jeez, man. You know what? Chapter 3. Fuck it. We'll read the whole entire thing tonight. Chapter 3. 1,000 words. It is almost 3 in the morning. I've not slept, so... I hate my life. Man, it's Friday. It's Friday... whatever. Okay. Do I really need all this shit? Starlight wondered aloud, taking in the massive amount of equipment she was about to carry into combat. It was the day of the invasion. Tonight, the brave ponies of the Third Airborne, who'd been preparing for many weeks, would fall from the sky into enemy territory. And in Starlight's opinion, they were packing way too much gear. She like every pony else, she had laid all her gear on her chute, making sure everything was perfect. Weapons, canteen, rations, ammo, knife, band, lance, sidearm, grenade, rope, aid kit, gas mask, goggles, vest. Whatever. Fuck it. I'm not gonna reverse shoots, harnesses. Like, you don't have to go into detail. You could have set the fucking goggles. That would have made sense. You don't have to go in super fucking details about that stuff. Like, don't make a fucking list of these things. It's boring. It doesn't help the reader. It's super fucking boring. Like every other chapter. Chapter 2 was my favorite so far because it was at least somewhat interesting, but it's so boring. And you can't complain about packing so much gear. You're gonna be in fucking battle. You're gonna be on the front lines. You're gonna be fucking there for days fighting. You're gonna have to have a lot of fucking rations and a fucking lot of supplies. So grenades. Like, you're gonna have to have everything ready. It doesn't matter if you're packing way too much gear. If you're packing too much gear and you're ready for fucking battle and you're there for five fucking days and everyone else is fucking starving because no. How about this? Everyone else brings like 20 fucking pounds of fucking rations. You bring your eeny beeny, like little granola bar. And you're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna be better than everyone else. You're starving on the 5th day because you haven't eaten shit all day. Whatever, it's fucking pissing me off. Story's makes me way too angry. Okay. And a whole lot of smaller items not even worth mentioning. Honestly, all that shit... Sorry, I went into the next sentence. But, smaller... And a lot of other smaller items not worth mentioning. How about you shut the fuck up and shorten that list to, like, I don't know, to goggles. That's it. The goggles is enough. Honestly, she could barely move with all that shit on her. Luckily, falling didn't take too much effort. Then the task of packing everything back up, she replaced the chute very carefully. If it failed her, she thought of the song "Blood Upon the Risers," a song about a troop whose chute did not open. Starlight did not want to end up like her. Okay. She stripped her weapon of... I'm so tired of this shit. The 1,000th time, making sure there was no dirt and everything was oiled and free of rust. For a while, her rifle had been her only friend, and when she treated it well, it did not fail her. The rifle was an Apple Farms M13 assault rifle. It was reliable, user-friendly, and had a good stopping power. Starlight's was mounted a 3.5 times 5.5 millimeter illuminated scope. It was great for medium range, but it sometimes got in the way. She carried 10 of the transparent 30 round mags, so you can see right through the fucking mags. Then you can see the what? It's Weird. Transparent. Okay, fine. So 300 rounds total. In addition to her rifle, she carried a 6-shot. Oh my god, Colorado. Dude, seriously. Stop naming everything. I'm bored of it. You're boring the fuck out of me. You're really irritating me here. She brought herself. It certainly packed a punch and was very accurate and reliable. I don't care. Just get to the action. You're boring the fuck out of me. She looked over to her right to see how Candy was faring. She was too stripping her weapon. From the looks of it, she had gotten everything else packed. Candy looked over at Starlight and smiled. Starlight smiled back and blushed. Her ears were going back a bit. She began packing up her saddlebag, stuffing important things into her vest pockets, not taken up by ammunition. She packed up in the normal way. First, her saddle, which was essential for her to fire her weapon. Well, if she wasn't a unicorn. Then her saddlebag. Then her shoe harness, which she needed to get off quickly once she got on the ground. Now that every pony was packed up, there was nothing to do but wait for the order to board the planes. Starlight trotted over to Candy. As quickly as she could with her equipment, and stood next to her, maybe a bit too close. Are they no, I don't think they're anthro, so like whatever. Because it's really hard to make sense of this with when it's like non-anthro. Do you need any help, Candy? She asked, looking down at her gear. No thanks, Starlight. Oh, sorry. No thanks, Starlight. I almost finished, she replied, smiling at her. Starlight still wasn't sure if she felt the same love for her as she felt for Candy. She looked at Candy's mane, which was pink, like Candy. Her coat was teal, as were the streaks of her tail, which was the same pink of her mane. Her cutie mark was obviously cotton candy, but her flank was covered by a khaki airborne I'm sorry, I don't want to look up that word and learn it because I'm lazy and tired. The military uniform looked odd on her. The ugly khaki, OD, and brown material contrasted with her cotton candy colored coat. Who gives a fuck? You're on the fucking battlefield. You're not Rarity. Okay, you need to worry about survival. Look, trust me. I have not been in wars. I've read up a lot about wars and people's situations through wars. I've learned many tactics about wars. Trust me, I'm a kind of a guy on wars. I'm a history nut, so I have to learn about some of these things. And it irritates the fuck out of me. I'm not kidding you, this really irritates the fuck out of me. Don't worry about fashion, because you're gonna fuck up and die, so I'd be glad if you did. So maybe we can actually focus on some other characters. In Chapter 4. Candy finished, reassembling her weapon. Reassembling, sorry. She put on her saddlebag with difficulty and started to put it on the harness over. Oh, here, let me help you with that, said Starlight, smiling. She set about strapping the harness to the grateful mare, blushing just a bit as close as she was to Candy. What? Once she was finished clipping the harness on, she backed off just a little. Candy groaned a bit at the weight as she tried to take a step. They're really expecting to fight in all this, Candy says, wincing. How about you shut up for one moment, Sorry, this is not the story, but how about you shut the fuck up for 1 moment and deal with it? Dude, trust me, this is really irritating the fuck out of me. I can't... God, man. I can't read this. This story is irritating me so much. Like, I'm gonna get done with chapter 3 and I'm gonna be done with it. I'm not gonna read this anymore. Okay. Where was I? As savage as those griffins are, we'll probably use up most of our ammo and grenades on the first night, said Starlight. Then realizing she was incredibly nervous. At least if we ever... she stops, shaking her head. Never mind. Everything's gonna be fine. We'll be fine, she said, smiling a bit. It was starting to get dark, and every pony had started boarding the planes already. Alright, let's go! Yay! Come on, Charlie. Starlight trotting off to where the plane sat on the runway. The props starting to turn. Where'd they go? Said Candy. Take a deep breath and climb up into the plane. Candy and Starlight were right next to each other in the middle of the stick. If the plane was hit, they had a reasonable chance of making it out alive. On Starlight's right was a Pegasus mare named Star Dancer. She was about Starlight's age and a bit larger. She had a gray coat with a light blue mane and tail. She'd been with the company as long as Starlight, if not longer. To Star Dancer, right, was a yellow earth pony mare with a brown mane. She was a newer and every pony simply called her Cupcake. So bad, I don't like it. She absolutely despised the name, but considering no pony actually bothered to remember her real name, the plane started... Okay, that's got a weird way to end it. The plane started to taxi over to the runway, where many more planes had already taken off to the air. Starlight looked out of the window and was amazed at just how many there were. There must have been hundreds looking to her right. She saw Candy praying. Starlight had never really been into that, but now she felt as if they needed all the help they can get. She said a quick prayer to Celestia and prayed to Luna, just in case she didn't make it. Before long, they were airborne. The darkening countryside rushed by, and in the open door, and the windows wouldn't. The windows there wouldn't be much cloud or cover tonight, so the Griffins would be able to see them and could hear them without much effort. You know, they could move clouds. Pegasi can move clouds. Are you forgetting that in the show? That they can move clouds? That they control the weather? You know, Crestvia? This story is so killing me. Okay. The flight over was uneventful. Starlight even got a bit of sleep. I wish I could fucking have sleep, you bitch. Waking up to find herself leaning against Candy, who was also asleep. She nuzzled Candy, careful not to wake her. Star Dancer tapped Starlight's shoulder and pointed to the red light next to the door. Starlight groaned and got up, gently walking Candy, hating herself for having to disturb her sleep. From there, training took over. Every pony hooked their static cord up to the overhead line. The static line would open their chute once they were out of the door. Next, every pony had to check the pony in front of them, making sure their gear was secure. and they were ready to make the jump. Suddenly, the night sky exploded into a nightmare filled with tracers, searchlights, and flak. An explosion went off right next to the plane, shaking it violently. Bullets ripped through the metal skin of the aircraft, and there were cries of pain from some pony in the back. At this point, Starlight just wanted to get the fuck out of this death trap. You know you could have gone home. You know you couldn't. You know that if you didn't want to be in a death trap, you wouldn't go back to the fucking front line, you bitch. Oh my god, this is irritating me. One plane next to them suddenly erupted into flames and went belly up, going down quickly, doubtfully that any pony escaped that. So boring. The light went green and every pony quickly exited the aircraft. Starlight gasped as the chute opened. The sudden shock hurting her back as her full combat load was increased tenfold. She was so shocked that she didn't even realize she was coming up to the ground. Suddenly she dropped dead, still hanging from the harness. Looking up, she saw at her dismay that her chute had become caught up in a tree. It's always the same issue. Oh, I got caught in a tree. I got caught in a tree. Ah, man, I hate stories. To make matters worse, she could see figures moving towards her. They obviously weren't ponies, but by their shape, suddenly a light shined on her, blinding her for a moment. "There's one. Light the bitch up," called a voice from one of the figures. Fuck me, I'm gonna die, thought Starlight's. Tears welling in her eyes. As she realized it suddenly, there was a loud burst of gunfire and the light fell to the ground. One of the figures was still moving and groaning in pain. Another burst fixed the problem. The figure of a pony galloped over to the base of the tree and looked up at demanded Candy's voice.
Candy?
Starlight replied,
Is that you?
Starlight, are you hot? Can you cut yourself down? Asked Candy.
I think so. Watch out down there.
Starlight said, using her magic to unsheath her knife, beginning to cut through the strong cord. Before long, she fell to earth. It wasn't a very bad fall, only about 6 feet. "Are you okay, Starlight?" asked Candy, audibly concerned. Before she could say anything else, Starlight hugged her tightly. Man, I hate reading this, man. My voice is going to go. It's so fucking bar. Oh wait, it's Friday. Fuck, tomorrow's my live stream. Shit, I have to get sleep. Thank you so much. I know how to play it.
Thank you so much. You saved my life.
She said, hugging tightly. The hug was made awkward, even uncomfortable by all the gear both ponies were wearing, but it was the first time Starlight had hugged her. Okay. What am I going to do? Let them show you? Yes, so we wouldn't have to have the story. Candy smiled back. Maybe this is a pony. Somebody. Whoa. 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 Fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. 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 can't believe this shit. I can't believe this shit. Ah, my knee. Fuck. I can't believe this shit. Kinda wish I could go blind. I don't want to be able to read this story anymore. Okay, this is a stupid fucking thing. I hate it. Kill me. I don't want to read the story anymore. Okay, whatever. I have a few more. I'm nearly there. I'm nearly there at the end. Okay. Okay, finish the story fast. Starlight's heart skipped a beat. She found herself blushing deeply, but forced herself to pull away from the embrace. There'd be time for everything later. Once they weren't surrounded by griffins looking to kill them, she slipped out of the parachute harness and readied her weapon, making sure the illuminated scope reticle was flipped on. Starlight looked around and pulled out her map, looking at it under the griffin flashlight. You know, you had it memorized so fucking well. What was your issue now? Why do you need a map, fucker? They were on a farm. Sarah's like, yeah, Starlight guessed. Starlight, yeah, it's Starlight, not Starlight. From the barn on the other side of the clearing from the trees she'd been stuck in. The griffins had come from a road not far from the clearing. To the right of Starlight was... to the right of Starlight, when she was in the tree facing the barn, the opposite side of the door from the forest was obscured by a hedge whatever. About 6 feet tall. Starlight had studied aerial photography and marked all buildings on the map that weren't already there. She managed to roughly pinpoint their location. She was, however, dismayed to find that their rally point, where they'd meet up with the rest of the company, was almost 8 miles away. Buck. Okay.
We'd better get moving, Candy,
she said Starlight, putting away her map and trotting over to the other mare.
We have to hurry if we're going to get there on time.
She knows what Candy's big brain wants them all. Replied Candy, removing her saddlebags and tossing whatever she didn't think she'd need. Starlight did the same, and soon they were both only slightly weighed down. Gunfire could be heard off down the road, right in the direction they wanted to go.
Well,
said Starlight, turning to Candy.
Shall we?
Author's note. Long chapter. Not too much action. I don't know. Tell me now what you guys think. I don't know if it's good or not. It's fucking boring. And I wish I could just fucking go blind and shoot myself. This is such a bad fanfic. Such a fucking bad fanfic. It's so boring. And the detail, like, yeah, too much detail. Like, I don't care. And I don't think these characters are truly in love with each other. And this whole entire, like, war aspect is so stupid, too. I mean, like, I study history. I love fucking history. History is my fucking thing, man. I study World War II, World War I. I study, like, fucking the French Revolution. Like, I study a lot of fucking wars. I understand you have to get to that pinpoint in that certain area at that certain time. But the thing is, they're gonna be held up at the rendezvous point. They're gonna be held up at that one point for a while because they're gonna have to fight off enemies. And taking off your gear is gonna fuck you in the ass. Like, it may make you lighter, but you're losing gear. You're losing useful weaponry and useful like fucking items that you should not be taking off. I'm sorry. It's just that the story is so irritating and boring. Whatever. What was your favorite part of this fucking story? Me? None of it. I hate it. This is such a terrible story. Yeah. I'll be having the Q&A up tomorrow, so I hope you guys enjoy that. The Q&A should be a lot better than this fucking video, because this fucking video, trust me, is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. So yeah. I hope... Okay, so I'll see you, my ninjas and assassins, for the next mission of videos.